Hello and welcome to the BetterU Podcast, where we go in depth and get to listen to stories of hope, strength, and courage straight from some of the leading health, fitness, and wellness experts who help transform lives one person at a time. I am your host, RKaye, and today we are joined by Simple Fitness Autism coach and author of Don't Shame Her Game, Let Me Explain, and Living Life Through Their Eyes, Gary Martinez Jr. Thank you for joining us today, Gary.
Thanks, RK. Thank you so much for having me on.
Now, for the show, pretty much, we always have a lot of different coaches, and it actually amazes me how diverse every coach is in the fitness industry. So could you tell us a little more about how your journey began and what really led you to decide that I will make sure to help other people who also have the same situation as I do?
So we moved back from Australia to Colorado in the early 80s. And one of the first movies I saw was Rocky 3. So I got inspired by Stallone, his character, his physique, and I wanted to start learning how to exercise. So what I did was we had a half garage. I had a DP brand sand weight set. I was started to read Muscle and Fitness magazine, and that was my personal trainer. So that taught me how to exercise and to follow a lot of the bodybuilders back then, both men and women. And that got me onto the fitness thing. And from there, fitness exercising helped me build confidence because I was introverted, shy, and insecure, and a lot of those things. And it helped me feel better about myself. And so then fast forward to later on to about 2011, I was driving on one of our main roads down here, and I saw a sign for a personal fitness trainer, and it caught my attention. And I was like, I think it's time to give back. You know, it's done so much for me. So I went to the school to become a personal fitness trainer, graduated in 2012. We had to extern before we finished our school.
Yeah.
So I chose the YMCA. And when I went there, they said, here's our group fitness schedule. You can take all the classes you want so you can get done and graduate. So I did that. And, you know, playing sports, I was like, most of us coming out of school was like, we want to work with athletes. That was me. I did all these classes, and I fell in love with silver sneakers. And silver sneakers is, it's a lot of it is like older people coming in, but there's also younger people. So there's a little mixture because some people are coming off of rehab, so they can't do the regular exercises on the gym floor. So I was inspired again because these people coming in there, they were coming in with their wheelchairs, their walkers, their oxygen tanks, and they were just like happy, united. And it was like a brotherhood. So that like drove a spark in me. And then the instructors were the same way. They were really animated and ready to go. So it was fun to learn a different way to do exercises because not everyone can do the same thing. So learning how to do things a different way with lighter type of equipment, it was a turn on for me. So I began. So I started out 2012 working for the YMCA. Mm-hmm. And then I did that for 2 years. And then I wanted to go on my own because I'm a special needs parent. So I have 2 kids and my daughter has autism. So I wanted to be around more for both of my kids and to give her the extra attention she needed. So I started working with like older adults, kind of from the silver sneakers. Mm-hmm. But then I started to shift, and now I changed my name to Simple Fitness Autism, where we're on our own autism journey. Mm-hmm. As a family. And now a lot of the silver sneakers exercises I bring into with my community now for autistic people because sometimes you have to start where they're at. Mm-hmm. So our workouts are different, like one of my clients, our warm up is walking around the gym 3 times and just talking about his favorite subjects, his special interests. And then when we get to the machines, it's fun because we're having conversations. I'm learning about him at the same time, and I'll make all the adjustments to help him out. And then he wants me to work out with him. Mm-hmm. So what happens when it's my turn, he'll be like, hey, Gary, can you turn your head that way for a moment? and it's funny for him. He'll put on like the heaviest weights. So I'm like fighting to do the weights, or he'll go reverse and he'll put nothing on. I'm assuming it's a heavy weight. I'm trying to like push, and I practically shoot out into the skies, what it seems like, and it cracks him up. So, it's about making a relationship with your clients, having that connection. And sometimes we have to modify exercises. Another client of mine, he has like some low muscle tone to go with being autistic and having Asperger's. So we started out where he can just barely bend his elbow a little bit, but he wanted to do push-ups. So we progressed from the little elbow bend to using the 1, 2, 3, 4th step on a staircase. And now he can do, full push-ups. And we're down to the 2nd step. So that's our story every day, is being in this our autism journey. So now I want to work with more autistic people, and that's why I changed my name, and that's where my heart is and my passion to working with our community.
That's a lovely, lovely story. And to me, I think this is something that is clearly very needed in the fitness industry. A lot of other coaches out there, it's pretty much application of personal training, really. It's that not everyone is or can be, just put into any type of program. We really need to look into every client's special need. And case in point, with you working with a lot of this different type of population, has there been any concern for you with regard to helping them out? Has there been a situation where a client that came up to you was a little bit tougher than somebody else? Could you explain that, or could you tell us how it went for you?
So it wasn't in like the gym with exercise equipment, that gym. Yeah. But at one time, it kind of disconnects with everything. I had what's called a sensory gym. So a lot of autistic people, we have sensory needs. And by the way, I've learned recently from taking some basic tests that I scored high, strong evidence base for autism and Asperger's. So I just learned so much throughout the years. Anyhow, back to the sensory gym. I learned that when I set up that gym for them with different types of equipment, everyone kind of gravitates to what they want to do. And I learned that some of these kids were coming pretty rough. And I was like a little caught off guard. So what I had to learn to do was to ask the parent, what type of input, what type of, what do they need for activity? Because I see that they need some harder type of input. So that caught me off guard at the beginning. And she was like, well, we need a lot of heavy work. So I was like, oh, okay. I was like, all right, I got energy. I'm game. So for those 2 kids right there, we did a lot of like play wrestling. Mm-hmm. So, not just the typical exercise. So we were wrestling to get a full body workout. We were chasing each other. We were using like the wavelength bags where they do kicks on and stuff, because I was using my friend's taekwondo studio, so I had it all matted, and we had some of his equipment too. So I learned that some people that you think maybe that they're coming at you incorrectly, it's not. It's like don't judge someone, but rather to observe someone. So I've learned that all these years with my own daughter, that's about patience, understanding. If you don't know, ask questions. If not, research, and that's where you start. So that was a little situation right there where I was caught off guard, but I reached out to the parent, and then I was like, okay, I know what to do now. And then it became fun. We were
Yeah.
I couldn't wait to see them because we would throw balls, like softballs. They needed to throw something. So like
Yeah.
they needed the muscles, the joints, and to feel all that to get what they need to organize their brain and body.
That's such a brilliant story, and I applaud you for that because not many coaches these days, especially fitness coaches, we tend to sometimes, I don't know if it's the same for you, but sometimes we go on autopilot, and whoever or whichever client you're dealing with, sometimes you kind of forget, and then it's just great to hear someone like you who just takes the time to really make sure that the client is able to, not just improve on their fitness level, but also to really have the opportunity to get the right type of fitness that they need, right? Um, so I'm sure your daughter is such a great inspiration for you. Could you tell me if there are other people out there, maybe a mentor that work with you who has helped you become the coach that you are today, that has helped inspire you to become who you are as a coach right now?
I think it's just been watching other people like my daughter. Like I'm on social media a lot, and to watch a lot of our other autism families and to see the obstacles that they overcome. Like maybe they're scared to walk on the earth, they're a toe walker, and to see them progress, or it's things like that that inspire me, is to watch my community progress. And a lot of times it's not easy just for our kids to get up, to get dressed, to get ready, to even get out the door. A transition of going somewhere is not the easiest thing in the world. So to get somewhere is like a win and it's praise. So it's just watching others in our community, just that these kids, these people, whether they're kids, teenagers, or adults, because I watch them all, and I have friends in all ages, is just to watch them just not give up. Like
Exactly.
that baby that we all were, not giving up, learning how to walk. They have so much obstacles, so many things inside internally that they go through that we'll never go through unless we are a parent to a kid like that and see behind the scenes.
True.
That it's just amazing to see them to just not quit, their mentality to just keep going every day, and to have people in their corner, rooting for them.
Exactly. So in terms of learning more about the community, it has been, I mean, through the years, the information out there regarding autism has become, a lot more known with everyone. But I believe there are still a lot of things that people misinterpret. Are there any, is there any type of common knowledge that you think, this is a little, I think this isn't really what it's all about? Are there any certain misconceptions that people think about autism that you would like to clear with us today?
Like there's just different things. Sometimes you can't see on the outside to know that this person could be autistic and have Asperger's or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
It's just that sometimes when we come across people, maybe they're a little confused because they don't understand. It's like their first encounter. Like, why is she repeating the same thing over and over?
Mm-hmm.
It's because I was in that position when we were diagnosed. I didn't know anything back then. I was freaked out, and felt like a failure until I chose to learn and be involved. So it's a good opportunity to make a new friendship a lot of times for us. So that's where I get to tell a story like, my daughter's repeating this phrase over and over because she can control it. She likes it. It's kind of like a favorite song that you like. You know how it starts, you know how it ends, you know how it makes you feel. So for her to repeat something over and over, it makes her world not so scary, and it helps her focus, relax, and calm down. So if you start to perhaps sing that song or say that movie scene with her, it opens the door where she'll feel comfortable let you inside, and then you get to create a friendship with a person. And that's what I like to see happen, is when we go out in public and we say our favorite phrase, and then we do get to make friends sometimes. So it's cool to watch that happen.
That's amazing. And, a lot of people do really need to have a lot more understanding of the community, right? Like, people are just so quick to judge whenever they encounter someone who has autism. And, I just think that society in itself has been very judgmental about anything and everything these days. And to me, having people like you out there, who can just really work within the community and help spread the message better, not just with parents who need help for their children, but also for other parents that you generally interact with, right? So, so far, has there been a client that you think is probably like your proudest experience working with a client, whether they're young or adult? Has there been a proudest moment for you as a coach teaching these clients and these kids that you work with? Has there been one specific, exemplar moment? I'm sure you're going to say there's a lot, but is there like one specific client that you're like really, really proud of from the day one that they started until now?
So yeah, you took some of the answer out of my mouth. Yes, everyone is special, and we're all a little different. So I'm gonna say, because my client that I was talking about, who started out with just a bend and a push-up, I think his story is really special, because I believe we started either towards the end of 2013 or 14, and we're still going.
Right.
They still believe in me to help him, and the father. They joined together. We've gone from in person to virtual because it just fits the schedules better. So the father and the son, we train together virtually, and just for them to believe in me so I can help them is a good feeling, because we've been doing it for quite some time. And to watch the progressions, and that we started out where we could barely do like maybe one round for the entire session, to like now we can do 3 rounds consistently. And that, any small, whatever it is, like real small win is like so big, and it just gives so many benefits to each person. So really proud of Logan. So I'm gonna give a shout out to Logan for staying with it and just watching him just blossom in not only exercise but as a person.
That's such a lovely story. I had to go and like cut you out with answering that, because so far a lot of the guests that we've had on the show, they always, when they try to answer this question, they're like, there's so many, why you just choose one? But yeah, that is the beauty of us being in this industry. It's just like a wonderful feeling to help every person. And you're right, every story is very unique, and you're really proud of each and every person that you get to help out there. Now, one last word before we finish the show. Is there one piece of advice that you would like to share with us today, Gary, that can help everyone out there to not just learn more about autism, but also other coaches maybe who are also listening? What would you tell them about dealing with the community and how they can help better?
Okay, so you're talking for autism community.
Yeah.
Is just to first, like if someone's coming to you, is to talk with the parents and just get to know more about the potential clients, and have that potential client right there. Have the conversation. Take your ego and pride badge off and just shred it somewhere, and be open to learning something new. Understand things will get unpredictable and things can change, because that's our world. And to be flexible and open yourself, and just to learn about that person as much as possible, and to understand that it may not be the traditional workout that you're used to doing with a person. You may not do 10 exercises. You may start out with just 3 to 5, and the journey starts right there. It's about building the bond, learning their likes and dislikes, so you can be a better assistant and go further with them. And it's about patience and understanding, and just keeping things really simple, because they're the actual teacher. We're the student who becomes a practitioner. So just to be open and to learn.
That's lovely advice. And just a little extra question for you, because I too am an advocate of making sure that fitness is just something very simple. Is there an additional advice for you to everyone out there who would like to be into fitness, but they're like, it won't work if it's simple? Is there a piece of advice that you could share with us? Like, no, simple is something that will get you through your journey, and it is what it is. Like, it's simple. So is there anything you would like to share with everyone with regard to that and fitness?
Yeah, so from personal experience, when I started out roughly around 12, I'm going to call myself out, because it was fun to learn and to make all the mistakes and become better.
Yeah.
But I learned that you don't have to beat your body up. You don't have to feel like you have to sweat puddles to have a successful workout, to be out of breath and all those sorts of things. That was me, and that's just what I thought I had to do. Now that I have some wisdom from experience, it's just, for me, it's about sharing that, like you said, keep it simple, learn those basic exercises first before you want to check into something else, and get really good at the foundation, the basics first.
Absolutely.
And then just build slowly from there. Be smart with your technique. Make sure, here's what I didn't do. I didn't stretch a lot for a long time, so I paid the price. Make sure you warm up before you exercise. Make sure you're doing a weight that's good for you. Build up to your goals, whatever that is, for whether it's strength or whatever it is. And make sure you stretch afterwards, because it's all about that recovery. Sleep is important. So just don't overwhelm yourself thinking you have to do so much. Just start, keep it simple, so you can keep going and keep it a part of your life, so you can play the long game and enjoy your workouts, so it feels good, and whatever those benefits are to you. That's my advice, because it's like, once you're done working out, like you feel so good in your headspace that any negative thoughts that were there prior, they're gone. They're like bye. So it's like, it's not only on the outside what you're doing for whether it's for your physique, but how you feel on the inside, how you feel about yourself, and how you use that into the rest of the other things you do in your life, in your daily routine.
Yes, that is absolutely one of the greatest last minute answers to this podcast. So yeah, thank you so much, Gary, for sharing all of that wonderful information with everyone today. Now, for everyone watching us on the show and listening today, if you are interested in seeing a lot of Gary's work, especially if you would like to purchase his book, I will leave all of those wonderful informations in the details in our video. All right, so guys, thank you so much for joining us in today's BetterU podcast. Gary, thank you so much for joining us today and taking time. And as always, Coach RKaye here, always reminding you, never give up on your movement journey, because it's never too late to move. Bye-bye, guys.